holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up for brekkie, lunch, or dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. They just drop them at your door, people. You'll save time and eat well. You'll stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while taking all of your holiday to-dos in stride with good meals in the tum-tum. If you're too busy with all this stuff, these meals are easy. Easy to get done. They taste great. All you've got to do is head over to factormeals.com/expandingreality50 and use code expandingreality50 to get 50% off. That's code expandingreality50 at factormeals.com/expandingreality50 to get 50% off.
A choice right now, between fear and love. It's just a rock.
Out of the dark night of ignorance and into the shining light of truth.
Expanding reality. A population of citizens capable of critical thinking.
We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
There's a level of reality where everything dissolves into an ocean of energy.
We empower our experience by insisting on our authenticity.
That's very profound. Very.
Expanding reality.
Welcome to Expanding Reality. I'm your host, Brandon Thomas. It is so nice to be with you guys today. So, the times in which we find ourselves are murky to say the least. Our co-collective creative has been bombarded by the bummer bombs of global fear, social isolation, and the insecurity of a fruitful future. Balls deep in the traps of new and carefully crafted ways of being fugly to one another. So, it can not only be easily understandable, but downright tempting to lose sight of the abundance, good, and beauty that surrounds us all every day, woven within this challenging time in humanity's history. But here to aid us in what we should all be focused on, which is a proactive preoccupation with positivity rather than a demographic demonized by darkness. An awoken lightwoker, unable to abide directive, rather sought or unsought, of fear and division, a speaker, a creative, an overall fantastically contagious cosmic being with a scholarly media presence, sharing his story and the wisdom of experience, as well as the creator of the lifestyle brand Choose Today, which I'm sure we'll talk about, helping to reclaim our most valuable asset in the war on perception and remedy the weight of chosen fear, refusing to allow the hijacking of our highest purpose. It's Travis Morris.
Hello!
What up?
That was wonderful. That was just the most...
Wrote it just for you. Yeah.
That was just magical. I was just like, wow. You can see it's like obviously it was beaming. Hello.
Well, good. Hi. It's so nice to get you on, man. I'm really, really excited to speak with you.
It's amazing. I'm so happy, so excited, and so ecstatic to be here.
Yeah. So tell folks where they can find you and tell us about this Choose Today, this creative brand that you've got.
Wow. Yes, you can find me on the Instagram at Travis Morris, TravisMorrisss. And what on there you'll find all expressions of who I am, who I express myself as love, as divinity, and as just unification as a whole in the whole collective. And what Choose Today, it is, as he said, as Brandon has explained, is a lifestyle and an experience brand that I'm personally finding it's more cultivating about how you can find who you are in the daily. It's just like choosing yourself, choosing your happiness, choosing your expression, choosing what it is to be you every single day. And to be completely honest, as it's birthing itself every single day, it is finding new meaning of what it should be necessarily experienced and expressed as every moment. But as the moment stands right now, it is all about experiencing and expressing yourself every day, every moment.
That's what's going to get us through it, man. That's it.
It really is. It honestly is. That's the only way.
It really is. And so let's talk about how we met. So I actually saw a video that you shared on your Instagram. What's your Instagram, your personal one that folks can follow?
Travis Morris.
Perfect. And you guys go check this damn thing out. It will bring your spirits up. So I found you via a video that a mutual friend of ours, Kelly Hanner, who is also going to be on the show. We've already spoken. And she shared a video of yours, and I was just blown away. It was fantastic. It was positive. It was uplifting. It was everything that the world needs right now, which is why I wanted to have you come on and talk, because these are weird times, man. As I said in the intro, it's some darkness going on, and we don't need that. So, well, you're welcome to have that, but you don't have to choose that. And that's why the conversation we're going to have today is going to be mainly about that. But so Kelly actually and I were talking about you, and she just absolutely loves you. She gets the same vibe off of you that I do. I saw your video. I messaged you. You sent me a lovely voice message on Instagram, which I didn't even know you could do that. And so you got to show me how to do that. And then we talked, and about 2.5 hour conversation later, I was like, this is one of my favorite people on the planet. So well, thank you. I had taken some notes during our conversation, and it went all over the place, which is going to be great for the listeners. I think you guys are all going to really enjoy this. So you cover all of it: psychedelics and DMT, numerology and synchronicity, the simulation theory, which we will definitely talk about, manifesting your reality, all sides, light beings, archangels, and we just talked about what is the universe. So let's break a couple of these concepts down. So what do you think, with the world the way that it is today, with the bombardment of negativity, with everybody just freaking the F out, what do you think is the best response to this whenever it comes up in your life, or whenever you see something like this pop up and rear its fugly face, as I put it?
I feel like the best thing to do is just pause. I feel like pausing into observation is the best thing. I feel like when we constantly move into the chaos of what we're perceiving as chaos, it's going to constantly look like chaos. Until we pause, we stand still into our own world, into our own energy, into our own auras of who we are, to just make sure that we know where we're navigating things. We shouldn't constantly keep on moving throughout life if we don't even know where we're going. And that goes within ourselves. We have to understand where we're going to navigate our own emotions, our own awareness, our own kind of perceptions of what's going on right in front of us. If we don't understand how we feel about it, how are we going to truly know how to stand in real conversations, real problematic situations that can find unification and peace if we don't hold the peace within ourselves? It's just going to be destruction and damnation of everything that we hold.
Yeah, and you can choose either, right? It reminds me of that Cheshire Cat thing from Alice in Wonderland, and he asks, where are you going? And she says, I don't know. And he said, well, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Yeah,
I love that.
And that's kind of what that reminds me of, because it's absolutely accurate. If you don't know where you're going, sure, you'll get there by any means necessary. Any road will take you there. So then, with the pause, how did that come about? How did you maintain that focus? What brought you to this awareness that is what's necessary?
Being triggered is what got me into that moment, because especially when it was going through, it all started when it's like the beginning of January 2020, and like feeling good, still not feeling truly. It's my own journey, my own process. And then when happened with the whole Corona and scandemic, and then it went into the whole exertion of the Black Lives Movement and everything going on there. And as I was personally seeing everything going on, I see things in a perspective of love, and seeing how things, if you know how to see above it, you can always see how things. I was just truly having this feeling, this guided movement of Black Lives Matter that always just shows duality and separation, mixture with the beautiful, perfectly placed scamdemic. I just thought that it was just like, I was just outraged. And why is everyone just so easily manipulated by them, by kind of like the little donut, a hot dog on the treadmill of reality. It was just like, why is everyone feeding into this? They're just showing us how to be separated when we should actually go and ask questions of why are we thinking that we are separated? Why are we thinking that we are not unified in the first place? And then going into the perspectives of even seeing the obvious right in front of us, especially when you are truly aware of what life is in your perspective, how the precautions of this corona is being played out, of our safety, of how they handle things. It's just like, this is not like as serious, but also not as real as what we take it to be. It's this beautiful game, this constant game. And I just got fired. I went on this whole knowledge train, as we're knowledgeable beings, but I took it to my own to feel like I have to be the reason people get it. Constantly researching things, constantly professing everything to spoon feed or basically kind of choke down some of the knowledge, the truth, and the awareness that I cultivated from my reality. It says, pay attention. And what I had to do was just truly slow down. It was a moment when I felt like it's so much energy giving out that I feel so fired and angry. It's like seeing someone's post or seeing someone's opinion should not anger me. It's like, why is this angering me? Why is this making me feel like I'm also part of not being in love? I was like, wow, okay. And then I just stopped. I was like, guess what? I'm not responsible of anyone else's world, reality, how they see it. Everyone's perception is divinely theirs. I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for anything other than my world. And that's when that pause came in. And I was like, okay, even if I didn't necessarily name it or label this at that time, but I was like, let me just sit in my own world. Let me work from the nucleus up and build my own reality. And it just, even if I was working on building my own reality before then, it clicked. It kind of tied in a bow of what that really meant for me. I was just like, so if I am, as we are all gods of our own reality, and it's like, it makes God in our image, which is I am God in the image of my own world. It's like, what does that look like? And it didn't look like spoon feeding or trying to overcompensate or persuade others of what I feel. And then I just went free and I was like, okay, do you world. But of course, a lot of things conspired after that gave me even more realization of what that meant for me.
Yeah, and to touch on what you said about everything, because I think we're all, and I was guilty of it as well. Right when this crap happened, you're just like, what the hell's going on? You kind of lose your shit a little bit. You go out and start looking at new guns, and things like that, which I did. But you get to this point to where, yes, it does anger you. And there becomes this immediate split and this divide, which, like you said, it's all... I'm with you on this. It's all a big divide and conquer tactic, if nothing else. If the coronavirus is what it says that it was definitely hijacked and utilized as a tool to more further divide everybody for whatever reason. If there's a great grand scheme going on, if these governors just got a little bit of power and were like, oh, I can run people's lives and control people, and so therefore they don't want to give that back. Maybe there's the element of all of that. Maybe there is some dark-handed reptilian-led archon energy feeding type of a thing that's going on, and all of these things are absolutely possible. What was observable were the divide and conquer tactics. So not only was it, and it started with the pandemic, as we all hopefully should be calling it by now. It started with that because you got like the mask and no mask. You had the science people. You had these people over here, these doctors being silenced, but these that followed the official narrative. And to anybody who sits there and says, oh, it's the doctors, it's science. Doctors and scientists can be bought as well. They can push a narrative. They are human beings. So you trusting the science, but not being able to hear both sides of it. Whenever they steer the narrative, the media, whoever's in power, when they steer this narrative to one side and don't let you hear the other side, that's when you should be cautious. And they do it, of course, under the guise of safety and, well, we don't want to put out misinformation. And it's like, no, this is a medical debate given by doctors who are in their fields trusted. Mm-hmm. So what do you tell the people who were silenced by this doctor? That's been their family doctor forever. So you don't trust them and their opinion, and maybe their observation is a little bit different. It doesn't follow the narrative. Therefore, they don't have a voice. It's these kind of divide and conquer tactics with, again, like you said, the Antifa, the Black Lives Matter, when you really start to research these organizations and don't get immediately triggered by what's happening and figure out that Black Lives Matter has been the worst thing for Black people in a long time.
Yes. Yes.
The creators of that are open Marxists. You can read their charter and see that that's the way it is. You can look up that they don't spend any money in communities, in hospitals, in local businesses, in anything. They've got a ton of those great $250,000 buses to go spread destruction and destroy people's property, but they don't put any money back into the community. They haven't paid for one scholarship for any Black person. And it's interesting that people latch onto this idea without doing any kind of research. And that, I think, is the most troubling. And that, I think, is where you and I definitely align on this, because we can see through it. You know, I wore the shirt for you.
Oh,
yeah. It says transcend the bullshit, and I wore it just for you. My wife got it for me. But
Great job.
Thank you. I love yours as well. The interesting part of all of this was the narrative and how it is a divide and conquer tactic, and it's easily viewed as such to a lot of people, not enough people, but to a lot of people. And it's these poor folks that sit there and follow the narrative and say, you know what, I'm just going to go with the official story. I'm not going to do any research on my own. I'm just going to get back to Real Housewives of whatever, watching the Tiger King, and I'm just going to live my life. Now, there's a lot to be said for the ignorance is bliss element of that, and I get that. Because just like you, I went through this really stressful time of, okay, well, shit's hitting the fan. I've got to warn people. I've got to tell people what's going on. You know, do the research. You know, the MS and MSNBC is Microsoft. It's ran, you know, it's owned by Bill Gates. And so, of course, you're not going to get honest truth about that. But there does come to that point to where you say, you know what, I'm just as big of a problem of the fear element just on the other side of it. So the divide came with people scared of corona, locked up in their houses, losing jobs, losing income, losing family members to, for whatever reason, maybe it is corona, maybe it is just a really shitty flu, we don't know yet, but losing people. And that side of it. And then, you know, got to wear your mask. And have you seen the people that are taping masks up over their vents in their cars?
No,
it's pretty wild. Yeah. And then wearing 2 and 3 at once and all these things.
I've seen that.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I say go with whatever makes you feel good. But these people running around telling perfect strangers how to live their lives was pretty interesting to me as well. You should be doing this and you should be doing that. It really turned neighbor against neighbor, which was challenging. So when you came to the realization that this is what was going on and you had your angry moment, then you realize that's not helping either.
And the thing is, it's so funny because when we actually see past it, it's this constant. It makes you laugh. It made me laugh. It made me really the jovial laughter of the universe. But to know that we are so in months. We were manipulated and we were guided into a direction that only saw us to be muzzled. Like, and it's so funny about the whole thing about what is it? The government only it does only so much. Only the thing that it needs to do is to slip you a subconscious thought. And we just, especially in a little bit of things of saying, hey, oh, this is truth, this is not truth. Don't listen to that, but don't go searching for that either. And go by this. And everyone's saying, wear your mask. Shouldn't you be wearing your mask? Shouldn't you be? It's just like, well, why do you think and feel that a mask should be worn? Well, the corona, of course. Well, do you feel that the corona lives outside in airborne things? Well, maybe, but what distancing? Well, you're across the street, I'm right here. It's like it's the type of thing where it's so much of manipulation, but it also comes from a place of do your own thinking. Do your own thinking. Do your own process analysis of what makes sense. If someone came to you before this whole thing and says, how would you handle this situation? They'll be like, would they go about it exactly the same way that they're so easily drawn to obey and follow? And it makes me, and now seeing the whole hindsight of it, I see that everything happens for the reason it does. Everything is moving towards the beautiful age of Aquarius, the age of replanting soil to redecorating the world, redecorating the earth, and just knowing how those old curtains are old and we need to throw them out with some nice, beautiful decorations. And I feel like that's what's happening. But as we're going through, there are two paradigms that are happening, the old one and the new one. The old one is easily being seen because it's being triggered by everything that's free, everything that actually is the constant of this world. And then the other one is being necessarily kind of both also being tested, but also asking, what do you want? The ones that are aware say, are you choosing to stay in this? Or are you choosing to elevate from it? Are you choosing to say that this is the way again? We don't have to spew hatred. We don't have to spew judgment. We don't have to be so obeyed in this type of always wanting to be validated for everything that we are, everything that we express ourselves as. And I've been realizing and understanding from the beings that I've been seeing is that they're done with compromising. They're done with over exasperating to how to live their lives. It's like they're done with it. It's like full on period type of mode. And it's just, and it makes me extremely excited to see how we're going to fully be at peace with all of ourselves. It's not going to, because that's not the goal. The goal is not to have one side fully in damnation and the other side living in the Eden. It's just like, that's not the way. I feel like it's going to go through a process of asking ourselves, how can we bring more understanding and more love in our daily conversations and our daily one-on-ones of saying that you can have your truth and I can have mine, and this is unity. You don't have to invade my world with your judgment, with your pointy fingers, and with your idealisms of how I should live my life. You live in your world, I live in my world, and we have a peaceful ground. Have a nice day. But of how to say, have a nice day without creating an argument. Because the thing is, a lot of people can be the bigger person. But if the other being is not willing to be that bigger person itself, it can have a potential for confrontation, especially if you're not subconscious. It's like whatever your world subconsciously needs to press out, you will get right in front of you. So you have to ask yourself, when someone is triggering you, when someone is not accepting your leave me alone, accepting let me be in my peace and I love you, what in yourself is not accepting that fully? What in yourself is saying no to leave me alone or no to I love you? It's like it's some blockage, because life is only the mirror reflection of what's happening inwardly. And we have to really rediscover our own inner landscapes to really understand how to navigate humanity in itself and stop being so, again, with the message of egotistic, but also manipulated by a destructive system, our self-destruct button, but also someone else's self-destruct button that just necessarily holding us on as we both blow up.
Right.
Like,
and it's an awesome point. And I think that you want to reach a point to where you have clarity over agreement. I think that if you can discuss your ideas openly and we can just come to the points where, okay, I'm clear on how you feel and you're clear on how I feel. We don't have to agree. It's okay. We're different people. We've got different outlooks, and that is what's beautiful about the world. That's one of the most beautiful things. But that comes from a place of love, not of a place of fear. And I think that what we find ourselves in is with that division and with everything going on, that it's just a fear fest. I mean, that's what it is. That's why all these decisions are made irrationally. That's why all of these folks, under my assumption of my assessment of the situation is this. It's not maybe necessarily that, but it feels like that all of it is fear based. And once you transcend that fear and you realize that it's just up to you to, like you said, create your own reality. And I think that's got a lot to do with, if you want to talk about it in frequency, that's usually how I like to do it. Is that you're emitting a frequency that then responds back. Now you can transcend the bullshit and raise your frequency anytime you'd like. But you can also find yourself in those lower levels and you'll resonate that in your reality. And people sit there and say it's woo-woo and they say, oh, The Secret, and I tried that and I didn't get my Lamborghini. But it's not that. It's not that at all. It's similar to that. And it's just The Secret, I don't think packaged it very well. That Rhonda Byrne book, have you ever seen it or read
yes,
it? Okay.
Yes.
So what was your feelings about that book specifically?
I feel like that it's the marketing truths. You know what I mean? It's like the beautiful propaganda of saying you can have anything you want. I feel like nothing is let loose without a motive. And I feel like, why was this instantly spread out at that time? Instantly worldwide, that everyone is The Secret. It's The Secret. Why are they calling it The Secret? Why is it a secret? It's not a secret. It's life. It's just like, it was just to spoon feed the idea of still control, but control of someone's mindset of just like, this is what you can have when you believe in yourself. Fade in, fade out. It's like a amped up version of a Tony Robbins audio tape. You know what I mean? It's just basically say you could do everything, but let's add a lot of cosmic, divine, mystical in it.
Yeah, it's like Tony Robbins with smaller hands. He's you can do anything. It's like, okay. And it's true. You're right. It dumbed it down. It watered it down, and it only pieced down. I think calling it The Secret was probably a damn brilliant marketing move, because people are like, oh shit, I like secrets. Okay, well, is this something nobody else knows? But how many millions of those were sold? So it's not really a secret anymore, is it? You know. But I think it was interesting, because then these people take these concepts that they can utilize and that can be beneficial and useful for them, but then they twist it into, well, I didn't get, like my thing. I don't have my mansion yet. I believed it. I wrote it down, but I don't have my mansion. I sat on the couch and waited. I didn't put any work into it. I didn't really feel it really. And that is when I got disappointed, because I didn't manifest, this Lamborghini, or I want a hot air balloon, and I didn't get it. And it's these ridiculous things. If you start with just inner peace and you start resonating from there, and you start really seeing yourself as the creator of your own reality in the sense of your mindset, that's where it starts. And once you can control your mind and your reactions to situations, where you respond rather than react, that I think is the most powerful thing, and it's freeing. And that's when you shift and transcend, and that's when you change the dial on the station, because you're just a receiver of consciousness. It's non-local to the body. And that's the thing that science still has. That's why they call it the great problem, is consciousness itself. They don't know where the hell it comes from. They think that it generates within the mind. But even that new Netflix documentary, what was it, about life after death?
I feel like I know about what you're talking about.
Okay.
I feel like I do.
Even a lot of doctors will sit there, and this guy wrote this book, Life After Life, and he was explaining that the brain is dead for like 30 minutes, but these people come back with these incredible stories of what was going on in the room, what they experienced afterwards. The brain is dead, so the activity was not in the brain. It was non-local. So whenever you realize that you're a receiver of this stuff, then you can translate that into your own world. And shit, maybe you get a Lamborghini, that's fine. But maybe you just find some inner peace, and you can not be a progenitor of fear, and maybe that's okay too, which is, like I said, what attracted me to want to have a conversation with you as well. You're one of the most wonderful, upbeat, positive people I've ever met. And I think, like I said, that we need that at this time. So tell me about your, what do you think about psychedelics as a means to help cultivate your own personal mental stability or your awareness, or what role do you think that they play in an awakening of sorts?
Initially, what I feel is that it's the beautiful gatekeeper of your mind. I do feel that it holds keys, but it's necessarily not meant to open the doors fully. I think it's just there for you to say that, oh, I have these tools. I have these things to go do my own way to transcend this and take the will to open and authority to open that door within myself. Because I feel like a lot of the times it can go basis off of fear. Sometimes people just use it for escapism. Sometimes to escape the reality it's in. It's kind of like putting in a virtual reality headset and said that, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Let me be somewhere else. And that's what it is. And I feel like other times it's when you are aware of its true power, divinity, and its essence to bring more knowledge to you, it gives even more meaning. It allows you to be more, it's I think poetic about how you see these things. It has more of like a beautiful renaissance about it. It's grand, it's beautiful, it's magical. It has a story to tell, but also if you're willing to listen. But I feel like sometimes it will show you exactly what you're not listening to. It will show you that, hey, your mind is scary AF.
You got some shit to work out, bro, and here it is. Here it is.
To your world.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, welcome to your world. Here you go. It's kind of crazy in here. And sometimes people don't like it either. And so sometimes that even leaves them even afraid of the whole idea of something bigger out there, because what they received was not what they liked, was not what they were hoping for, other than the cool, trippy experience. And I feel that when it's taken lightly, but taken, I don't like saying serious because nothing's serious, but also taking with wisdom and knowledge and awareness of what it is, it brings some amazing things to the table of how you're supposed to. It's kind of like reading a textbook and then applying it in life. It's just like you get to read it, and now you get to go out in your world and apply the same things that you have experienced, witnessed, or even to ask questions about, what am I? What is this? And then it will just be like a little crumb trail to where you're going to go next. But I feel that the more that we take advantage of it, the more that we lose sight of what it's here to do. But also at the same time, it's fun. It's experience, but it's fun. So it's just like to know your own boundaries, it's not even limitations, because there's no limits in this world. It's all about your own knowing where the borders stop and where for you to it's kind of like stop the car, get out, adventure, get back in the car, understand that, I could do anything I choose to do. Change the dial of the radio, knowing that you are willing to change the old dial, your frequency, and make a choice of what type of station you want to listen to. And I feel like that's what it's kind of like that. It just gives you awareness of who you are. It's just like, here you are. Here you go. This is your identity.
Yeah. So what do you think is a good way to stop in your tracks whenever because you can feel it. You can feel yourself vibrating in a frequency in which you don't want. So what is one of the tools that you use or you found beneficial that maybe you can tell other folks about that helps transcend it and go, it's that awareness, right? It's that, hang on, this does not serve me. Because you probably believe, kind of like I do, there's a guy named Neil Donald Walsh. He wrote the Conversations with God books. He had an observation that said, there is no right or wrong. There's only what serves me and what doesn't serve me. And so if you get to that point to where you're sitting there in a situation and you say, this doesn't serve me, what are some good ways to kind of bring you back to that vibration?
I feel like and even beyond, or the first question from that, because you have to be truly aware of what are you? It's like, what is your whole embodiment to understand what you choose to accept and what you choose not to accept. It's just knowing that you hold both of these things in your hand. You have an option to choose. And I feel like a lot of us don't even know that we can choose. So we just hold these in our hands, and our hands get tired. We get exhausted. We get drained. We feel miserable, depressed, whatever, anxiety. And then we realize that we can drop one and embody the other. And I feel like sometimes to really know that we can break that own mold of our own subconscious like relay. It's a subconscious loop within our thoughts. But first we have to ask ourselves, what is the point? Why do you want to say that one serves you more than the other? It's like it goes deeper and deeper into the caverns of our own mind and embodiment of asking. Sometimes, as you said, there's no right and wrong, but you have to ask, it's like, what is your full benefit? Your full benefit of one could be best. In this situation, could be best or worse. And I feel like the more that you know what makes you fully in happiness, fully in awareness, but you have to be aware to even understand that question.
Yeah, you got to first realize your power.
Yes, it's like if you don't realize your own divinity, your own power, your own authority over your life, you'll just choose both and think that that's a good option. Or you choose none and be like, you think that you don't deserve any options. It's just like you have to know that you deserve to pick whatever you choose, but also you must be aware of what you're choosing. And I feel like what happened with me is when you're sitting there and you're asking these questions of what you are, what you deserve, what you think you feel you're worthy of, more knowledge comes in. I even recently learned this recently. I always went into my heart to ask, what should I be doing next? Sometimes in a very, very OCD way within my own mind, but also at the same time, asking myself, it's just like, but I realized it went based off the subconscious motive of what I thought I deserved. It says, okay, don't do this. Wait, I should pick this. It was like, wait, why should I pick this? Am I just picking this because I feel like I deserved this? Am I picking this because I know that that's what I truly desire? And it went into even to a deeper cavern of even saying that that's not even what I want. What I think I desire is not what I even want. It's what I thought I did need to be worthy of that thing that I didn't choose in the first place. And it just went deeper and deeper until I said, guess what? All I have to do is just let life, personally for me, show itself what I deserve. When I'm truly in alignment, when I'm truly seeing myself, it will show me what I am. And we have to be truly strong in this to say that if it's showing you something you do not like, you need to figure out a different option. You need to figure out why your choices look so slim, why your choices look like ass.
I like that, yeah. And not a good ass either. Not a good bubble butt. It's like ass in the worst way possible.
It's not juicy. It doesn't have that vibration to it. Right. It's not sending out signals. It's flat. It's just a line. Yeah. It's lining back. And it's just like, and I feel like when we actually take it in, it's like, you just look at it, it's like, this is not even good. This is what they said, let them eat cake. Maria introduced let them eat cake. It's just like, I didn't realize cake meant crumbs. So I thought she meant like the cake that she's eating. No, because she knows what she deserved. Eat that cake. Oh, she meant the crumbs that I ate off of. Oh, it's like, so what does that mean about me? And I feel like when taking in those things, taking into the versions of psychedelics and those even avenues themselves, and ask those questions first. Who am I? What do I feel that I am deserving of in my reality? Because it will show itself. It will ask yourself to ask yourself these questions and to be very, very particular to choose what narrative you're truly reading.
Yeah. And you got to be really deliberate with what you want. You got to really sit down, write it out, be very deliberate, and then focus on that. And don't be distracted by, again, the Real Housewives of whatever. And you can have these little nothing boxes are fine. But again, you resonate at that frequency. So if that's what you want, that's what you create. So what would you say is for somebody just starting out on this who's a little on the fence as far as wanting to transcend their reality and wanting to bring about better things, if not only a healthy mindset, which will then trigger everything else that you want in life. What is your one beginning, like, start here? It's, start small, start here. What's your advice for somebody wanting to embark?
What makes me happy? And I feel like when you ask what makes me happy, in the most easiest way, like how a child is so or not, they will tell you that I do not like that. I want this instead. And it's like, and they do not compromise. Of course, children have to learn integrity, but also they know that this is not what I like, and I deserve exactly what I desire. There's no lack; it's only abundance in this world. And when we have to first ask ourselves, what makes me happy? Does this make me happy? Yes or no? Does this make me, does how I appreciate or value myself, does this make me happy? Yes or no? How I assert myself about what I desire, does this make me happy? Yes or no? Is this even in the situations like, do I like being treated and feeling like this? Yes or no? And it's like, and it's that easy. And then take that same format. It's so simple. And keep on asking yourself, does this make me happy? Yes or no? Does this job make me happy? Yes or no? Don't try to be like, well, it does this, the pros and the cons. No, you instantly, does something make you happy? It's kind of like if you like this food item, you're not going to choose something that you don't like. You instantly know you don't like it. It's that simple.
I like relating it to what you like to eat, because that's brilliant, because it is a choice that you make consciously. That is something you have control over, but it's a great point, because you have just as much control over anything else in your life, and that's empowering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's so empowering, but we have been, that's what we're redecorating with, because the house has been beaten down, meaning humanity as the house, so much to think that it's what it is. It's supposed to be weighed down. It's supposed to be seen as minuscule. Only certain things are supposed to be as brilliant and beautiful, or elite status of what things are. No, every part of the house can be beautiful.
Mm.
It doesn't, you need to only have one special room as the pretty room, or as the room that seems worthy and has all the most nicest things in it. And it's not even about materialism. It's all about what you feel that you deserve from yourself. And it's just, and being even more aware of what that happiness looks like. We can even go into even having a conversation with someone, and even ask, if we don't even know about ourselves, ask someone else and say, what makes you happy? And see how they answer. And then and ask yourself, do I answer the same way? Do I answer with hesitance? Or do I answer with kind of a sense like, well, I don't know. What does make me happy? And sit there stunned. And they're just like, have I been living off of someone else's happiness or idea of happiness? And sometimes they will feel stunned. They're just like, I had to rethink my whole life.
Damn it! Nobody's ever asked me that before. You know, it's like they haven't even asked themselves that. What makes me happy?
Exactly. And I remember when I was over at my friend's house one day, and then, and his name was Travis. It was so funny. And he came and he was picking up something, and he was asking. He was like, "Oh, how are you?" He was like, "Oh, what's my name?" I was like, "Travis." He was like, "Really? Yeah, Travis." And I asked him. I said, "So, what are you doing with your life?" Or something in that congruency. And he was like, "I'm good." I was like, "How are you doing?" He's like, "I'm good." I said, "Are you happy?" And he paused. He was like, yeah, I am. And he just smiled. And it was the type of thing, it's like, you feel it. You feel it. He's just like, yeah, I'm happy. It doesn't have to be this perfect idealistic world of what your mind wants to cultivate. It is something that your heart knows it is. It's like, I'm happy where I am. And that's the most beautiful, when you're happy about where you am, where you are in that moment, not where you think you're supposed to be. Because every moment, every minute, every second, every day is not promised to us. We don't even know we're going to live in the next 3 seconds. You have to be happy in knowing that what you have right now, do you feel good in it? Can you sit in it, relax, breathe in it, breathe in your own crisp air and say that it's not toxic? Is someone else polluting your own air system? If they are, close the vents, find a new place to
put
be.
a mask over the vents in your car, and that solves it, right?
Put a mask in the vents, and guess what?
Wear all the masks, right? Yeah. If you want to, wear them all. Yeah.
Just like wear them all. It might be some filtration system. Just like wear the mask. And it's so funny. And I don't dare, and I don't tell someone to do it. I just give someone the perspective to say, just ask yourself that question. Just ask yourself, are you happy? And ask everyone else, are they happy? And around you, I feel like around you in your life. and ask them.
Yeah, and so this is the realization I came to as well, because I got on this big. I've been a conspiracy analyst for a really long time, and so you start following the money, you follow these trails, you're beta talking, and the Tuskegee experiments, which were horrific, that our own government perpetrated up against. And so you get to this point with all of this stuff where you have a ton of information and you're right. And the government lies to you and you're right. And they're screwing you over and they're taking your rights and they're chipping away at our freedoms and you're correct. But what you can do about it is you can lose your damn mind. You can be scared on this side of it, away from the people who are got to wear your mask, got to stay inside, got to do what the media tells you to. And then on this side of it, you have a fear wrapped up into, I got to warn everybody, I got to wake everybody up, I got to tell them, look, we're being fucked here. This is awful. Wake up, because if enough of us wake up, which is true, then we can change things. But the problem is that people have that opportunity. You can look at that. You can find the same information that you and I come across. And you can do that. You can do the research. The problem is people don't want to be woken up, man. I've come to this conclusion. They don't. And so therefore, you've got to take away. I found it most personal, most prolific for me, is if I take away the responsibility that I feel to wake people up that don't want to be woken up. They're happily sleeping, and they're fine with that. And that's okay. You guys go nuts. So it is, if we are doing this doomsday march towards totalitarianism, the only thing you can really do, and I've said this forever, is tend the garden you got. It's not my saying. I've just been saying it forever. You've got only control over, what your house looks like, what your body feels like. You've got only control over your mindset and the people you choose to spend your time with and your happiness. That's what you have control over. And it's almost like a domino effect, because whenever, and they say this about dating. I haven't dated in a long time. I'm married, but they say this about dating, that if you're out there and you're desperate, people can feel that and smell that, and they don't want anything to do with you. But if you're out there living your best life, you're being who you are, you attract wonderful things in that way. And so it's almost like you attract more, flies with honey, of course, is the thing, but it has to do with your inner peace and your inner how you handle these situations. And so if you're running around freaking out, dude, you got to wake up. Look, research Agenda 2030. Look at Event 201. Look at these things. You're being fucked. They're lying to you. You can do that, but it's only going to push people away. I think that you and I have both come to the conclusion that you've got to tend the garden you got. What that means is be the example, be the change you wish to see in the world, that Gandhi quote. You just do it. You just be it and you exist it. Not only are you going to be happier, but it may wake other people up to the fact that they can also choose the same thing. There's nothing different about any of us.
Yes.
In the sense that I have a greater ability to do anything more than you. I just choose to be consciously aware of what I'm creating and what I'm manifesting and what I'm surrounding myself with. I'm tending the garden I've got.
And it's so funny because it's... Of course, it's funny. I was saying exactly that same thing in all my voice messages this morning. I was like, it's like tending your own garden. It's like tending, and I was just like, and since you just said that, it's like, it just nestles in so beautifully. Because what I've noticed, everyone that is focusing on the narrative to this totalitarian, this destructive doomsday is depressed. Even the ones that are aware of who they are, they're focused on a narrative that is not their world, and they're just miserable. And they're talking about, and I was just noticing, there was just like, well, everything that's going in the world, they're just like, it's going to get better. I was like, why are you focused on them? Focus on you. Whatever they're going to do, they're going to destroy themselves. Just like sit in your beautiful orb of protection, sit there with your bonsai tree, clip it, turn it to whatever you want it to turn into, and be happy. And it's like, why is everyone so focused on the world? I think that they're afraid of something. They're afraid of losing control. But you have to realize you have no control over any of it. Not even what happens to you next. If something decides to blow you up, it blows you up. You wake up somewhere else and you realize this was all a dream and you laugh about it. But it's like, and it's just, it is, and it's just like, so what are you going to do about it? Are you going to spend your whole day focusing on someone else's narrative? Hell no. I definitely won't. It's
hard
like,
pass.
And hard pass.
Like you can choose that if you'd like to, but for folks like me and you, and no, I'm good. Thank you.
And it's so funny. It's just like, I feel like sometimes people, even the beings that are aware, feel like they have a responsibility to constantly feed into that narrative. Like if they don't feed into it, they're naive, they're elusive, they're not seeing the bigger picture of it. It's like, well, you don't have to see their picture. go look at that image. You don't have to stay in this one image of life. It is so many beautiful pictures around. It is so many beautiful art of life around. Choose one that fits with your frequency and sit in front of that and just bask in it. You don't have to sit in the picture of everyone blowing them up with masks and famine and destruction. And beauty and love. It's life. And I feel like it's what we have to ask ourselves, for all the beings that are aware of who they are in this world. What are you so afraid of? What are you so afraid of? What do you think? Picture what you're so afraid of. Ask yourself, do you have any control of that? No, you really don't. So now take in what you do have control. The world beautiful. That's it. That's all it can be. Because I just find it, you will be so frustrated about what they're doing in the Capitol, what they're doing with everything. Do you think that the people in the Capitol even have control of what they're doing? No, someone else has control of them. And they may be aware of it, they might not even. So do you think you have any right or any type of course you have a right, but any type of power over someone else's actions?
No.
You do not.
That's the beautiful realization right there. That's the meaning of it all. You don't have any power over any of that shit. The only thing you have power over is what you perceive and how you control your own reality. And it's a beautiful thing when you get to that realization and realize not only that what you just said, that you don't have any control over anybody else, which why would you want to, right? Why the hell would you want to control anybody else?
Yes.
But good. We're good. But also it's to the point to where you can create your own reality in whatever way you choose. I would say start small, right? So what is something somebody needs to start with whenever they get to this realization? I want to shift my reality, okay? I want to shift my frequencies. Mine's gratitude. And I tell people this all the time. Start with gratitude. So there's also a trick in a book that I read about keeping a gratitude rock or a little object or a bracelet or something around your whatever. Something that will visually or physically, whenever you stick your hand in your pocket, there's that rock. And anytime you touch it, you think it's something that you're grateful for. And mine is always, and I always use the example, start very simply. Start with, you got shoes on your feet. You got running water at the house. You got a house. You got a roof over your head. You've got, a car. If you've got a car, you got all these, you got people in your life that love you. You've got a dog, and dogs are dope. You've got all these wonderful things that you can be grateful for, and that shifts you. It gives you that bump into that next frequency. It gives you that gratitude frequency. Some people, like I said, wear a wristband, and every time they see it, they think of something that they're grateful for. I will find myself interrupting patterns of thought because I recognize them very quickly. When I'm talking to somebody and they're like, oh, and this happened, and just this sucks, and living the dream, that weird cliche thing where they're not really living the dream. They're being sarcastic. And
yes.
It's like, okay, and I'll catch some of my friends going off on a rant. You let them rant, you let them be there. And I say, look, feel what you're going to feel, but don't stay there. Have that emotion, figure out why you're feeling this way, and either change something or move forward, but don't stay there. And when you sit in that, that's when that echo chamber happens. Now, I will catch myself again, and my friends are probably extremely annoyed by this, but they know it's coming, that anytime they start bitching or start venting about whatever, which is important as well, I'll let them finish, and then I'll go, okay, say 5 things that you're grateful for. And they're like, ugh. And by the time they get to about number 3, you can see the shift happen. You can see the big smile on their face. You can see that whatever the hell they were bitching about a minute ago or feeling like was important and was just ruining their life is not. And it's that type of thing that I highly recommend that folks check out. Start with gratitude, and that's going to shift your reality to that whole new level. And it's very empowering. It really is.
And I feel like to say what I would start with someone else, that gratitude is first, number one. But for me, what I've learned is because sometimes with gratitude, when you ask yourself, what is actually the most important thing in my life? What are the things that I actually have in my life that not by your ways of what is valuable or worthy, but also what is the saying that you have, like you said, shoes or food or anything. But also, if someone does not have shoes or food or anything, they still have so much to be grateful for. You're alive.
Absolutely. These are a generalization type of topics. Yeah. I know, if my friends don't have shoes, I got extra shoes, man. Let's do this.
I know. It's
now you got shoes. Be grateful.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I was like, let's start with that. But what I've learned is just like, first being grateful, but second, see the magic in the world. See the magic. See the magic. It's just like, even if you have to force yourself, sit in one spot, look at something like a tree, see its beauty, find a spot in your consciousness that slips through that says that that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Look at the blades of grass and say, wow, that's beautiful. Look at the clouds and just look at it. Do you know how many times people don't look up when they walk, when they just don't look up? And when you look up, you just see how vast it is and how huge and big this beautiful world is, holographic or not. It's beautiful. And it's just like, we have to just, it's like, when you just sit, even listen, it's just like, slow down your mind, listen to the birds chirp. Even if sometimes if they're too loud when you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're aggravated and pissed off, sit there after you get dressed and just think, because it's like, wow, that's actually beautiful. If you weren't in that situation right now and you wanted to be exactly where you wanted to be, how could you even appreciate those things if you're not, first of all, grateful for them? And you can't see the magic in the world. You'll just keep on worrying about what you're worrying about in a different place. It is like, and I feel like when you take the time to say, oh, place your energy in exactly the place that you think that you need to be, see the magic in it. Even if you're sitting in your own cubicle, sitting in a painful situation, sitting in your depression, ask yourself, why, first of all, am I feeling this way? Let yourself be fully aware of what you're feeling. Try to understand it, express what you're feeling, express it. Then going into the part of understanding what you're feeling, and then also releasing it. And it's no time limit, because time doesn't exist, but also no type of extreme of how fast and slow this is supposed to go for someone. They could do it in a period of months or years or days or even in seconds. But then after that, or open them and look where you are. Feel how non-serious life is. See how everything around it, it's fun. Take that inner child joy, and when you were a child, try to dig in there, even if you suppressed it to your own personal hell, go deep into it, grab that inner child, suck it back up, find her, him, they, whoever, and realize, well, what do you find is beautiful? And ask her, they, who, and him, or whatever, and they might just say flowers, or the smell of grass, or my chocolate, or just cultivate. Just like, what did I think was beautiful back then? What did I think was magical? And just bring them back and integrate that same child back into yourself more and more, and play. Just play. I feel like when we have this illusion of adulting and what it is, we forget to. We're just grown kids. Just like forgetting that outside. You can go outside, you know. It's just, and the greatest thing about this is how you can go outside. Your mom or your dad or whoever is not telling you you can't. You have full freedom. You have full choice to play and go outside with your friends. Play.
Yeah, you're just a kid with more expensive toys. That's all this is.
Exactly. Stop looking at the window. Say, I wish I could do that. I wish I could go out. Look at that person on their bike. If you don't have a bike, run with them. It's just like, it's no limit your imagination to have fun, and it's like, and find the magic in the world. And that's what I would say. I would say, just be and find that magic. Go inside, find that little kid that's asking to be played with, asking to say, play with me, see life, see the magic, and then play, integrate it all.
So, and again, we're not going to wake anybody up here that's not seeking this information. If they get this information, they're going to enjoy it and appreciate it. Maybe somebody's already started down this path and wanted a little bit of tips on how to streamline or improve, or just a separate observation with it. And what about the people who are out there that are curious about doing something to change their lives, to let's stick with the frequency metaphor, to shift their frequency away from fear and away from all of these things, that though find themselves in a group of friends that would make fun of them if they were doing some woo-woo stuff like meditation or envisioning their reality is better or shifting their vibration and things like that. What would you say to those folks? I mean, because there's going to be some people out there that are curious about this, that have a apprehension to actually pull the trigger on something like this because of the woo-woo part of it, or because of the I'm going to get made fun of if I tell anybody about it part of it. So what do you think the advice for those folks is?
I feel like I have three things for advice. First, ask yourself, why do you think it's wrong for you to go down that way, to go down that path and that journey? That path is open to you. You see that the treads of footsteps, obviously people have been there before. Why do you feel like that's wrong to go in that direction? And then I feel that at the same time, also asking yourself, am I judging myself the same way that I'm assuming, or even not assuming? Some people might just say to your face, that's woo-woo, that's crazy. Just like, am I judging myself the same way that they are judging me? It's just like, and is that the reason why I'm stopping myself from going down that trail? And then the third thing is saying, do I deserve to even be treated this way for thinking differently? Am I a modern witch that's basically saying, if I know what 2 + 2 is, that I'm going to be burned down the stake by even my own subconscious thoughts or the people around you? If you are that witch that's afraid to be burned, ask yourself, are you going to allow yourself to be burned, or are you going to place yourself somewhere else that you will be ignited and appreciated and valued and seen? And I just feel like, be crazy. It's no one in this world that has not changed it stayed in a normal state. Everyone that was brilliant, that changed the world, was weird. Everyone that was normal didn't do jack. They didn't do anything. This is like Albert Einstein. He was called slow and special needs or retarded. I don't like that word, but it's just a word in itself. It's the case. It's just like, why would you feel that when someone that sees beyond the scale of what you see is someone that you should lessen? You should be applaud, not lessen, for you to think something differently from somewhere else. Your opinion is as valuable as anyone else's. And because you even think broader to ask more questions, you should even applaud yourself that you are even asking that question. It's just like that student that decides to raise their hand in front of the whole class, knowing that they're the smart kid. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with being the smart kid?
Yeah, we're good. We need that.
I know. Some people in the room may even know the answer, but they're afraid to raise their hand. Be the brave one. Raise your hand, wave it, be loud, be expressive. Don't be afraid to show yourself. But if you are still creeping that way of being brave, just ask yourself those 3 things. It's just like, why are you afraid to go? Second of all, do you deserve to be treated in such a way of judgment towards yourself that others are treating you in that way by going down that path? And also, do you deserve to be there? Do you deserve to sit in that spot of feeling suppressed to express yourself? Why do you feel like you need to be suppressed? It's like the same way that they thought that women did not. It was funny for women to say that they should learn something other than being an incubator and someone that's supposed to be there as a figure. It's hilarious. So ask yourself, has anyone that has changed the world stayed the same? And if you said no or yes or whatever, you have to sit and ponder on that. And your answer will come to no, they have not stayed the same. To say, good job.
Yeah.
Now move.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Move. Go take the trail. Someone will push you aside. You have spirit guides. You have help. Look for someone that will help move with you, or just move yourself, because not everyone will be there with you. But when you get to your destination, or even on that road, you will find people along the way that will skip along the yellow brick road with you to get to the Emerald City of just awareness and just self-expression of love of you. And I just find that's what I would say. That's what I would give to the person that feel suppressed.
It's awesome. It's perfect. No, I love it. Okay. So I think we've covered a lot as far as that element. I think we've empowered people a lot with the tools to move forward with these types of things. Now, I'm curious about a couple of other things. So what do you think about synchronicities?
This is excellent.
I like these.
It's like a good pot of cocoa. Look, I feel like that synchronicity, of course, the layman's term for coincidences that everyone likes to say. It's just like, it's such a coincidence. Wow. It's just like, be exactly at the same time at the exact same point. Such a wakey day. But no, I feel like that synchronicities are life's magical ways to tell you on exactly the right path. They're telling you, they're just saying, just go left. Go left. Am I left or right? Maybe turn right. Said right to go left. No sense of space and direction. But I feel like the synchronicities it's just kind of just like it's a pager. It's a pager of just saying, good job, or maybe sit with yourself and ask yourself a little bit more about yourself or more about that decision or that situation. And it's so beautiful to see someone's face glimmer, know and recognize the magic in the world when they recognize that, wait, first of all, I'm not alone. Someone's helping, because I feel like a lot of the times that amazes people is that you're not alone. You're never alone. You always have support in this plane or in another one, even if you're aware of it or not. You know that something is guiding you. If it's right now, if it's just numbers, let that number be your Holy Mary. let it be your savior in some way, even if it's no savior. But meaning savior, no one's gonna save you. But it's just a beautiful, like a beautiful guiding light to lead you down somewhere that is unknown, but also known from the bigger picture. But also just going to guide you to where you need to go next. Have fun with it. And I feel like synchronicities it's so many different synchronicities. There are numbers. I realize that synchronicities show up in anywhere that you are willing and available to listen. Anyway, what I love to do, I call it spirit shuffle. What I do, I turn on my Spotify or whatever music device that has a shuffle mode on it to my personal playlist or not. And I sit there and I ask a question or just say, okay, what is happening? Or how am I supposed to be feeling about this? Or what's going on? I play the shuffle mode. The music just comes through. The message comes in the song. It does. I tell you,
so
try
cool.
it.
That's fun. I want to try that. Okay.
Yes, do it. And it will amaze you. It'll just be open. And it's so fun because don't you know, have you ever had this experience? And I know maybe some viewers could ask them for themselves that you just can be going along during your day and a song pops in your head randomly that you haven't listened to, just randomly. And then take a moment to pay attention to that song and what it's saying. It's just like, okay, what's the meaning of the song? And it's like, what does this song say? It's like, and it's usually a specific line that's being repeated in the loop constantly in your brain. And the message, it's like ringing in your ears. That's a synchronicity. It's kind of like a frequency dialing up and trying to transfer a message to you. And even when that happens, sit down with yourself and just ask yourself, okay, help me guide through this message, or saying, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to feed down to the frequency line? You're trying to say something to me that is obviously here, that you're here, that spirit's here, that we're on the right path, go in a different direction. Something's trying to tell you something. It even goes by words. It even goes by people. You may even find the same synchronicity of meeting the same people constantly, over and over and over again. It's just like, oh, I wanted to be a writer. Every single time I'm at my coffee shop, it always seems like writers keep on sitting next to me. Or every single time that I talk to someone when I'm as a barista or something like that, and someone keeps on saying, hey, well, it's like they may ask you just like, so what do you like to do? It's really like, I don't know. They take it out and they just like, I don't know. Next three people during the day say, what do you like to do? I would love to hear more about you. You seem like such a nice person. If something should click, just like, maybe ask yourself, what do you like to do?
Yes, they're asking you to ask yourself. Yeah.
Yes. And even in messages, even in words and in physical text, if a text keeps on popping out to you, you will see it. It was even funny when I was sitting, I was looking for things because I'm creating a movie and it's going to be beautiful. And I really love it. I know, it's so exciting. More information for that soon. But, and I was looking, I was feeling this nestled energy of course, freedom. I'm a conduit of freedom, conduit of joy, conduit of happiness and magic. And I was just feeling the sense of the slight suppression of feeling like, okay, am I able to do this? Am I able to do this? And it's like in this false illusion of limitation, which there are zero. And as I was sitting there and I was asking myself, it was like, okay, just watching it, but still keeping my I can do anything energy vibe going on. On YouTube, ad that just kept on saying freedom, freedom. I was like, ooh, excellent. I was
Okay,
like,
I can get on board with that.
I know. And then also the message in the number was 1035. I think it was 1035 or 1044. That said, I said, what does this mean? And it says freedom to live. I was just like, oh, that is just beautiful. So with synchronicities, just be open. Be open. If you notice that something is reoccurring, then the coincidences in your mind that happening for something's trying to contact you. And if someone's afraid of the woo-woo, it's nothing that is demonic, nothing to come at you.
Yeah, that's what I'd say to it. Just try it. What do you have to lose? Just try it.
What do you have to lose?
Just give it a go. Don't tell anybody if you feel embarrassed about it. Just sit in your home for 10 minutes or whatever and manifest something that you want, or think about something that you want, or focus on something, meditate a little bit, whatever, and just try it. And start with that gratitude thing. Start with seeing the magic. That's a beautiful way to do it. And it's funny too what you said. Where was I at? About whenever you do the synchronicity thing. So one of the biggest ones and one of the most obvious ones that people they notice it all the time, but they don't think anything of it is, oh, I was just thinking of that person. I haven't thought about him in years. And then they just called out of the blue, or they sent me a text out of the blue. It's like, exactly. Yeah, bitch, that's synchronicities. You should check into that. It's pretty cool.
It's a fun thing. And I feel like the biggest thing is to be use your observation. You must, it's just like sometimes things will just flow right in front of you, but if you are not paying attention, you will not see it. It's like you have to pay attention. You have to know that really here for you. Don't just be nestled into the mundane idea of reality. Be curious that something else is out there that's so much better than what you are truly to accept right now. It's so funny. Everyone, but no one's willing to believe in it. And it's just everyone, just like they see these movies, they see these things like that would be so cool. Everybody wants to be a wizard. Everybody wants to have that magic motion of just saying they can snap their fingers and do that. But you can actually do that. Even if you don't believe it or not, take it into a question and say, what about if I can? What about this? It's like, and I feel like a question that someone can ask. If someone said you can't, what about if I can? Just say that. It's like, what about if that actually is possible? Question the question.
Yeah. And I think that, I forget who said it, but it was a quote that said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right.
Yes. I saw that actually early. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday or a couple of days ago. It was just basically saying exactly what you said. It's just like, either way, you are right.
Yeah, you're correct.
You are
oh no,
correct.
I can't bungee jump off this tower. You're right. Oh, I can bungee jump off this tower. You are also right. You are correct. Yeah.
You're correct. It is just like the thing is the universe, which is you. It is like will not argue based off what you feel that you're limited to do. It will go based off your boundaries. If you feel the world is this small, it will be that small. If you feel that you cannot go off of that, sure, you can go, but don't be mad if someone goes off and bungee jumps off of it. Don't be sitting there like a crying baby and be pissed off.
I want to be a writer, but I can't. Then you're correct. Or, I want to be a writer. Okay, then you're right. Right? And get out there and put the work in and move forward and stay positive, stay on that. You will start bringing things to yourself, the situation in which you know that you are, and opportunities to be who you know that you are. That's the best part, is it starts to send you opportunities to practice what you're wanting to do. So if you say, yes, I'm a writer, it'll send you writing connections, or it'll send you ideas and inspiration. Now you have to put it into practice. It's great. I love it.
It's great. It's like opportunity meets desire. It will come together. But if you don't desire any of it, you won't get it. But also you have to know that you're worthy of what you desire. You must know that desire is bringing by will, but also surrender. Bring the will, the authority to actually do something about it, but it flows and communicates with you. It just may be in so many different ways. And I feel like that's the premise of synchronicity. It's just knowing that it's desire meets opportunity. And if you bring your mind to escape the ideas of your limitations and see in your big dream world, you can make anything happen.
And it's I love it. And it's crazy too, because you'll see, if you think about, let's say, a particular blue car, if you look at a blue Outback, okay, and you're like, oh, those are kind of cool cars. Not only will it pop up on your feeds everywhere because your phone's listening to you because the government's huge.
Yes.
But beyond that, you'll start seeing them everywhere in life. You'll be like, dude, I've seen a ton of these things. What the hell? And it's an interesting thing. That's one of those signs that you're given. It's like, it's not weird. They've been there the whole time and you're not paying attention to them. There's maybe a little bit of that, but I think a lot more of it is that now you're consciously bringing this experience to you. And the same goes for hate and fear and all of these things and self-doubt and all of those. You will bring that and you will manifest that into your life because it's going to give you exactly what you want. It's going to give you the opportunity to be hateful and to be fearful, and it's going to give you things to be fearful about. Shift your perception. Change that dial. Even one tick. Say, I'm grateful for this. Look at that beautiful tree. I think these are the kind of things that encompass what empowers somebody to be a little bit more positive in a world where, man, it looks like a shit show out there. It really does. But don't, turn off the damn TV. Stop listening to what the media is telling you. They're all pushing a narrative, and that is a fact. That's not oh, well, you're just assuming in a conspiracy theorist. No, that's a fact. Follow the money. Look where the money's at, and you can see this for yourself. Now, once you get to that realization, you realize it's all bullshit, and you realize that you do create your own reality. And that the only thing you do have control over are your thoughts, emotions, and what happens in your immediate circle and in your garden. So tend the garden that you've got.
And it's so funny. It's this type of thing where I even realize that a lot of things that a lot of beings of this humanity does is that when they are asking for something, when they're asking for change from the world or change from themselves, it's like they're not aware that these changes will show up to give you an opportunity to evolve. You can't just say you want to change it and you just won't get anything to question, not even question, but to make things change. If you want to be a positive person and you go out through the world and say, I'm a positive person, hello, and someone might say F off, and you'd be like, well, I'm a positive person. Why did you do that?
See ya. That's it. You say, all right, we'll see you later. Have fun with that.
Exactly. And it's just like, if you really want to be the change in the world, that with change comes obstacles. You're not going to be away from it. And how you take those obstacles are all in your own reality, all in your own choice. It's like, if you choose to change something in your reality or even the grander scheme of reality, know what you're asking for. Because how can you ask for something when you don't know what you truly desire? And it's just like, when I even say on my recent post that I made on Instagram about that you saw that we connected with, is it's like when two people, it's this illusion of war going on between, we want society to screwing up the Trumps, the White House, the oath, the Biden, everything, everything, but they're spewing the same hate, the same things that the other people are doing, and it's just like two people in war just want to control each other, and it's just both of them are going to die because they're not doing it strategically. They're just doing it guns blazing with emotion, just coming out full emotion, which can be a beautiful, insightful tool, or it can be your weakness and your downfall if you truly go so drown in it. And I feel like the whole idea, which I personally do feel with the whole Biden and Trump, but first of all, how Biden is, of course, a whole scheme and how they're bringing all the people that look this complexion into the White House just to make everyone feel more comfortable, like a Kennedy. It's it's hilarious. I find it so funny. someone does that, and how it's just going to make it's kind of just like, and if you ask yourself, if they give you what you want or what you think you want, are you willing to shut up? Are you willing just to sit just like, thank you, I got a biscuit, I'm happy? And this is what in society, that's what Biden, they're giving you biscuits of black people. They're giving you, let's fill out the whole White House with people that look like you so you won't think I'm the bad guy and I'm still not doing shady stuff on the side. It's just like, it's the same. And it's so funny. It's like, and how they happen to be all women. Oh my God, that's so fun too. And it's just like, I just find it's just like, if you pay attention and ask yourself what you truly, even if you may trust or may not trust, or that's the way that you decide to go, ask yourself, is this, even if it's showing you what you want, go deeper, ask questions. Is someone may give you a whole plate of something. Is all the ingredients in there? They might say that, oh, was it cooked with peanut oil? You're allergic to peanuts. It's just like, but what you taste it, you die. It's like, ask the same thing with life. It's like, oh, the plate looks good, but let me ask what's the contents in it. It's like, ask more questions. It's like, when I'm getting, is it good? Is it on the up and up? Even asking yourself with even the relationships surrounding you, is all your relationships on the up and up of what you fully feel like you deserve from it? It's just like, are you just going to just receive whatever you receive, let someone speak to you in a way that's unlike your divinity? Are you going to have conversations that only represent someone else's truth, but you choose not to authoritate your own divinity in itself and your truth? It's like, doesn't mean you have to. And I feel like this is another thing. You don't have to answer everyone. You don't have to give an explanation to anyone. And I feel like that's another thing within society, feeling like they always have to explain themselves. Why do you have to explain the way you live? Let people question. Let people wonder. Let people inquire. And let the tickets and slip pile up. You don't have to answer none of them. You don't have to answer anyone's assumption of your divinity. All you have to do is be for you. And if anyone has a problem, a question, an insight, or a trigger that they're reflecting or projecting back onto you, that is not your problem. And I feel like the biggest thing where I realize is just saying that this is not my problem. Your issue with yourself is not my problem. I love you, but guess what? I'm going to go back over there and do my own thing. As you said, tend my own garden.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. You nailed it. You nailed all of it. I absolutely love talking to you, by the way. This is not the only time we'll do a show together. So what do you think... what do you think like the world is? So, is it this round ball hurling through the stars here? We're going to shift gears just a little bit just to kind of have some fun with this topic because I'm fascinated by just the concept of reality. Like, what is consciousness? Are we just a brain with a nervous system in a vat that's being sent electrical signals somewhere? And, this reality is just created and we're just kind of playing through it with actual consequences from our perception, but maybe none of it's real. What do you think?
I personally feel how I feel like this reality is something, and when I mean reality, not just Earth, everything, the whole solar system, all the universes, all the galaxies. I feel like it's just a microcosm of the macrocosm. It's just, you don't even get the lick of what life is. It's just based off this reality. It is just something that is simulated or necessarily projected from someone else's reality, someone else's comprehension, someone else's understanding. And who these beings are, who that consciousness is, we know, but who knows? Meaning in the sense of based off what we are aware of. And I feel like it's this type of thing. I see that as we are all conscious beings projected in these bodies, in these vessels, in this energetic field, which is who we are. I feel that as we are going deeper in science and spirituality and all these labels that we want to place on what is life, I feel that we are getting to the bigger question of saying that some things can't be answered, but some things can only be attempted to be understood. And I feel like we all us do have the answers. But I feel like when you take a chance to fully see the bigger picture, it's going to even feed you even to more of a trail of what this life is. Like, I personally feel that when we look at space, the stars, the galaxy and above, even ourselves, I feel like it's just a big simulation. I see it like The Sims. I have a really good time seeing it like that. And it's like, I truly see that it's fun. Like my other character is not controlling, but guiding in some way what happens to this character fully in full respect of the will that's in here. I plant it here and I'll be like, this is cool. And I even had the most fun time with that same going to the store and being like, oh my God, I'm actually in the store right now. oh my God, I'm talking to people.
And it's got no real consequence in life, right? The only thing it does, I think the only real consequence thinking of things like this has in life is it allows you to expand your reality a little bit. It allows you to open yourself up a little bit more, and maybe you just entertain some fun stuff, just if nothing else for the thought experiment. Walk through your day as if you are in a computer simulation. Now, don't go stepping out in front of any buses, because the simulation is pretty firm on that idea. It knows what's going to happen, you know? But even just the concept of this greater understanding of a greater awareness out there, I think that is just, it's fun. And again, if you stick your hand in fire, you're still going to get burned because the computer says that you should. The simulation said that's how it goes down. But
oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and it's just more of one of those fun things to think about. I think that it's great. It's a lot of fun. If nothing else, it'll take you out of your day for a little bit.
And I feel that to piggyback off of that, I feel like reality is what you make it. Because I feel like the more that we are understanding that we create exactly what we see, we create exactly how we feel, we create exactly how we perceive life itself. If you want the fire to burn you, it will burn you. It's like the beings in coma. It's like how they enter a whole other conscious spectrum of reality within the coma. It's just like they're allowing themselves to go deep into this conscious reality tethered to this vessel. They are truly in a full other spectrum of what this world vibrates at. And it's the same world, they're just on a different frequency of it. And I feel like the time where I feel like for anyone that is asking themselves, watch The Matrix, it's fun. It's a great thing, but also I feel like it skims down just a little bit, because and even going into, I was even speaking to my mother about this the other day, going into the realm of looking at everything, like taking a true glance at everything and just being just like, so what's the meaning of you? Like going down, it's like, ask its meaning. It's like, I've been told this is the meaning, but what's this meaning of this table or this phone? Or like,
what does it all mean, Travis? You know, what does it all mean?
What does it all mean? And I feel like when someone gains their own meaning of what things are, they also give the most bigger question of knowing that you don't have to accept anything based off what you think others may perceive of your reality, but also at the same time, you get to spin around in what you perceive this world is. And like you said, just walk around like you're in a simulation. Walk around like you're in a big VR, hands in front of you, just like, oh, take in consideration that may be a possibility.
Yeah. Well, it's like Albert Einstein said, reality is an illusion, albeit, a very persistent one.
Extremely persistent.
Yeah, it's pretty real. Yeah.
And I feel like we can be of course, like I said before, opportunity meets desire. The more that you're aware that this is an illusion of whatever this is, it's going to show you glitches in the system. It's going to say like, well, it's glitches. Wait, something doesn't seem right. It will show you how, like, personally, effect, how things is like there's still glitches in the system. Things are being changed and rearranged, and dimensions and realities are constantly going in and out and constantly being manufactured right in front of our eyes. We just need to be aware of that. That's a possibility within our own humanity.
Yeah, and it could be that's what there's either aliens or ghosts or entities or any of that. That's what that is it's either visitors coming in, they're either part of the simulation, or it's a glitch in the simulation, and it's kind of glitching things in that aren't supposed to necessarily be here. Or maybe that, your consciousness has a filter to it. There's this idea that your consciousness has a filter to it. And then when you take psychedelics, like we talked about earlier, it kind of retards that filter a little bit, and it makes it to where you can perceive more of your reality than what you are supposed to have whatever experience you're here to have. But being able to broach that realm is kind of part of the experience as well, if you can kind of figure it out, and it might be one of those things. But I love exploring those kind of topics, man. That's way more fun to me than, I don't know, bitching about who's on the Oval Office or something like that, because it's all theater anyway, right?
Exactly. And it's so fun. It was just like, and what I've been telling people is just like, if they even take the chance to say, what I like to do, go into the mirror and just stare at yourself. Just stare at yourself. Stare in the eyes of the windows to the soul. As
Maybe
they say.
not on acid, because that's tricky.
That's true. That's tricky.
You got to work up to that. You go Wolfman every time. I don't know about you. I go Wolfman every time.
It was just like, I have not seen. What I've seen is that it's just like I felt this feeling of this non-existent body. I felt of just truly looking into. Like I felt it was so many different energies. I was feeling like first, like I was in a dollhouse. First, I was in this other thing. I felt because I constantly see things and thinking multidimensionally. Every single thought, every single process, every single wave and length, I know the different frequencies of my own reality. So when that slowed down, going thought by thought, reality, dimension by dimension, it's going to get very, very cosmic, very quick, but also very, very crazy, real quick. The perception of what it just feels like you're in a fun house, a never-ending fun house. But I remember I was just looking into the mirror, and I was just like, and it felt like my mind was coherent of what I was staring at, but this was just a full-on dead zone body, and I was just like, oh my God. Just like really knowing that my consciousness was tethered somewhere else. I was like, this is just a meat vessel. I'm just running in a meat suit. I'm just like, so who are you? But first of all, at the same question, I was just like, my face looked the same, but different from a perspective that's not usually valued by me. But also it was in a sense of just knowing eyes looked dead, meaning like a still vision of just saying, it just, you saw the life, like the lifeless being that we actually are. What gives us truly our full-on spark is what's in this. And I even feel that the illusion of chakras and things like that, I feel like they are still things to be developed with them to understand them. But I also still feel like that is just elementary to what the bigger scheme is as well. I think that these are just, it's like we're understanding the full makeup of who we are, of our body, of our systems. And it's just like we're coming to the realizations that we're more than what we perceive to be, but also we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea, because this idea that the science is settled is horseshit. The science is never settled. They're finding out new things all the time. And whenever somebody's like, oh, well, the speed of light's the fastest unit of speed out there. That's not true. They found in quantum physics this spooky action at a distance type of a deal, this quantum entanglement, where two particles much further than the distance light can travel in which they interact react at the same time. How is that possible?
Yes.
So there are things out there that we can transcend. And that's why, back to this idea of it, people thinking, oh, this is woo-woo, oh, this is bullshit. No, the science says this. No, the science is actually never settled. And the science even that is quote unquote settled is finding out daily that maybe there's a little bit more that they can go into. I don't think that a lot of these types of this type of research is funded, because there's not a lot of people out there that want to either change the way that they view about the world, or even when you get into things like life after death experiences, or like the research of Dr. Rick Strassman that did the DMT work, he had a hard fucking time getting funding for that stuff. And even then it was just observational of what it was, and wasn't really able to take it beyond asking those big questions as far as what's really going on, what's behind the veil of it all. And it's weird, even with all of science still denying that UFOs exist. It's like, no, they definitely do. There's unidentified shit up there. You've got tons of witnesses. You've got the abduction experiences. And whether they're mental or not, maybe that's it. They abduct you mentally and they take your consciousness somewhere. And there are so many more mysteries in the world. And I love those mysteries. Like, that to me is what keeps us going. I think it's great.
I truly agree. I feel like the biggest thing is that people are afraid to ask those questions. I feel like when they bridge that gap to say that they actually know nothing, it makes people terrified. It's terrifying, because now they have to say, like, now they have to navigate this whole world into perspective and say, what does it actually mean? And I feel like when we actually integrate the spirituality, the science and everything, because magic is just science on another level. It's understanding the dimensionality of it. And it's just like when we actually integrate all of these concepts into this new age of Aquarius, we will gain some true answers of what things actually are. And it's so funny. It's like, it's laughable to say that there are not other beings outside of this earth. It's like that UFOs, beings, and aliens, which we are just basically aliens to them, just like that are non-existent. It's just like there are beings flooded around us constantly, perceptually, that we cannot see, and some that we are possibly are interacting with somewhere in humanity that may even look like us. It's like, do we feel like we're the only humanoid looking beings in the galaxy? No. It's so many different ones that are so aware, that are helping move along our ascension process, that's helping us even grow, even like little secret agents, or sometimes maybe they're just taking a vacation on planet Earth.
Yeah, or there's some awesome theories, or some people hypothesize that they're future humans coming back in time machines and checking us out. I love that's honestly my favorite one, probably.
I love that.
Easily my favorite one. Yeah.
I personally love that idea because it could mean that also it entertains the perspective of how time is this non-existent spectrum, that if you understand how it operates, or how you can move throughout the zero extension chord of time, it's malleable. You can be anywhere and everywhere at once. It could be a future you and you at the same time. Doesn't mean that it's going to mess up anything. It's because you already lived at that time. You guys are all constant in your own timelines. It's just like you are here, past you, seeing you. And I personally, like, as I love this movie, what is it called? I had this movie in the top of
what's one of the actors? I'll help you out.
Okay, it's the guy that plays Hawkeye in Marvel, and also the woman. It's about the alien. It's like this. It came out a couple of years ago. It's about this alien ship that kind of looks like octopus, squids.
The Arrival?
Yes. Okay. Arrival. Thank you. And
I like that moment when we're both trying to figure something out, and somebody out there is just screaming it. Oh, it's the Arrival. It's the Arrival. And then we're kind of like, no, it can't be that. That can't be right. And then we get there. So it's a good release for the people who knew the right answer. So, okay. Go ahead. My bad.
Thank you, being so the collective. Thank you. No, because it's like what I love about that movie. I love how it shows that the past, the present, the future, and the now, and it's all can be beautifully synchronized at the same time. You can be talking to yourself from the past, constantly helping each other. It's this long lineage of yourself guiding you along your own path, and it's just like you're not away from yourself. It's like if you decided to really channel in, go into your own space and say, I want to feel how I'm feeling in a week from now, or I want to be aware of what is going to happen in 2 years from now. We have that right, we have that ability and authority and willpower to do that within our own vessel, within our own consciousness, because we can ask ourselves even questions. It's like that type of thing is when you feel and you have a voice that sounds like yourself in your brain. Right, that comes out of nowhere.
Mine sounds like Sean Connery. I don't know why.
Sometimes I have different voices that I just love to narrate in different ways. Especially, I love. I can't remember her name is Tabitha, whatever.
Diana Ross.
That would be fun. Just like and really having it in. It's like we can turn it in and narrate whatever we please, and it's just funny that when we actually think about it, it's like, is that me guiding me from a different spectrum, from a different timeline? Just navigate when, like, is this you telling you to say, hey, actually, don't pick that one, pick another one. And just like, don't question that. Don't question it. It's like, is that actually you helping you along with the thoughts of remembering what happened to that situation? It's like, oh, what about if I pick that one? Let me tell myself not to pick that. And I feel like, even because that's what happens with the beautiful spectrum that I feel what deja vu moments are. Deja vu is just everything rippling at the same time. It's just like if someone had a string and just decided just to pluck it, and we're just like, everything's falling, collapsing into one space that happens over and over and over again into multiple realities, multiple timelines that we're just funneling into and just saying, all saying at the same time, wow, I just had a deja vu.
Yeah, and everybody in all of those timelines. Have you ever heard of the I don't know, it's a theory or whatever, it's a hypothesis or just a fun thought experiment. How about that? That kind of life in reality, you get to live this life and you maybe die a few times along the way, but you don't consciously die in your mind and you just pick the story up from where you go. Let's say the example I heard was if you ever play like a video game and you get to a certain point and there's a left and a right and you take a right. From whatever camera perspective, you understand. Most of this is audio anyway. Yeah. So you take a right, and then you go down and you get like shot in the face, and then you start over at the beginning. Well, whenever you get to that right and left point, you go left because you know you're going to get shot in the face over there. And then you go left for a little while, and then you make another couple of turns, and then you die by some booby trap or something like that, and then you start over. Well, you remember the first time of getting shot in the face, and then you remember the left, rights, and things like that, and the booby traps. What if that's all life is? It's a series of you making these conscious decisions and unconsciously following these threads in every different angle. But what deja vu is a point in which you died, and that makes you remember that. That's like a cue for your start off point for where you reincarnate at. That's fun. Oh my God.
That is, do you know how blown I am?
Yeah, that's fun.
Because that is, I was just igniting when you were saying that, because it was just like, I have felt that so much. It's just knowing that how many different timelines, I could be in timeline 42 right now.
Oh, easily.
And I don't even know. It's like, I don't even know.
And it's that theory of multiple worlds thing. You know, there's a theory that there are infinite number of realities. And if there are infinite number of realities, there are infinite number of yous and me's having this conversation right now. And maybe that we're wearing inverse shirts. I'm wearing your shirt, you're wearing mine, but we're having the same conversation. I mean, word for word. That's what infinite means. It's infinite possibilities, which is really fucking mind-blowing to wrap your head around. But if that's the case, maybe it is that whenever you make a decision, another universe splits off, and one of you, and the you that went right, and the you that went left, and then those universes, with every decision, thought, and choice, create their own reality and split off. And so there's an infinite number of these infinite possibilities, which in that sea, in that soup of possibilities, everything happens, and it all happens at once, which is why it's tricky for time. And that's why it's only linear from our perspective, right? Because we need a way to process the experience that we're here to have. And maybe that's all time is. The other thing about the aliens from the future is what gives me, what I like about that is we make it, right? We don't destroy ourselves. Yes. So that's kind of fun. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's all going to work out if that's what it is. And so that's just awesome.
And it's personally to me, and based off my perception, I definitely do feel like that's what it is. I feel like it's like a big gumbo of different infinite possibilities and timelines. And I do feel that every single time it's like taking a ladle and you're just like, oh, wait, that's that timeline. Oh, wait, this is that one. It's like all muddled together. And I feel like as we go down and deeper, we are truly integrating every single timeline into one perspective. It's just like it's like how so many thoughts are coming into once, and we choose to say that one word, that one thing. Maybe these are all thought processes going at once, and we just choose one that feels congruent to this particular timeline. And it's just, it mind blows me, because the more I feel and think about it, it's just like, what if that as we're sitting here, we are not the only, since space and time is, of course, infinite possibility. What about, since sitting here, it could be three of you sitting in the same spot or next to each other, like in this kind of like this, what is it, kind of like this mirror display of just you just seeing yourself from all different perspectives. And I feel like it's me even thinking about that, grasping it. And I know that the viewers that are listening to it, just sit in, just nestle in that thought. Of
marinate saying, on that for a little while. Let that one breathe. Marinate. Let it breathe. Let it sit
in the refrigerator for 24 hours. let it truly marinate. Because I just really think about how it is always possibly true that these things are available to discover. And I'm just mind blown. Even that thought, I feel like I have to sit with that.
Or what if everything you think is correct? What if everything you observe is your observation? What if you think one day that the earth is flat? Okay, cool, it's flat. What if you think the other day it's round? And okay, it's round. And what if you think that we're infinite beings full of light and wisdom and love, and then that's what it is. And you're absolutely correct. You know, they might shift a little bit, but the only shift that you get is the feeling of the understanding, not necessarily the observation, because maybe your feeling came from your observation, right? And so it's like that fun thing, like the flat earth versus round earth thing. I don't give a shit, but whatever. But it's these people who sit there and they have such compelling evidence and believe it so much. And then you've got the scientists over here saying, no, we've got this figured out. Like, it's settled science. Well, well, maybe both are correct. I mean, and these types of concepts are fucking mind blowing to people. But it's back to the all choices you make are simply just experiential, and maybe that they just lead you to other points of choice so that you can experience more. Maybe that's all that reality is, which in my mind is empowering to the point to where you're like, well, then there's no wrong choice. There's only what I decided to do. There's no hell to go to because I simply made a choice rather than a right or a wrong choice. I just chose to experience. And that is very empowering. I mean, it's very freeing, but there's also a lot of responsibility in that. You don't just want to go around stabbing people in the face for the experience of it. Now, you're probably welcome to do that. I don't recommend that. But I think that, what if that's it? What if that's all it is? It's just a big soup of experience, and that's what you're here to do. And maybe learn lessons and maybe do some sort of ladder for reincarnation and all of that things. Or it's all just a damn video game, from somebody's perspective, that we're just playing this game, and that whenever the game's over, you run out of coins or whatever, you shag ass back to your house or whatever, and that's it in another reality. Maybe that's what this is. Those are the types of things I enjoy thinking about.
And I agree with you most, as it's like, because I feel like it's like what about we have this big reset button every single time? It's on a constant loop of seeing what we're actually going to do, what we're actually going to experience, and how we're going to navigate our own lives, and see the differences in all of it, and say that since I know this choice, I'm not going to choose differently. And it's just like, and what about, that's what the dream world actually is, us playing out the different realities, the theories of our own thought process, and just say no, yes, no. And truly, when we wake up, it's like, oh, okay, I have to live out in this perspective, because I kind of know if I live out in that perspective, it's going to go to hell. The perception.
Yeah, or just whatever you want. Like, it's whatever you want to experience. I think that's what it's really all about. And I think any sort of religious or political or any type of thing like that that's telling you it's got it figured out, and I know the way that to go, and you should be doing this is full of shit. I think anybody who says that they've got it figured out is full of shit. Yeah.
And I feel like it's complete. I feel like when we actually go deep diving into our own space, into our own, like even paying attention, like I said, to our dreams, we will see how things are not as they seem to our realities. They are. It's like how some dreams feel so real. Just like I know that a lot of people that are listening possibly have that feeling of just saying, "Oh, I had a dream that felt so real, that felt so unbelievably real. When I woke up, I was shocked that I was even still alive, or I was shocked that I wasn't in that dream." And it's like, it's kind of just saying, well, ask yourself, when you were dreaming, if you thought that was so real, what reality, what world were you actually just experiencing in? Because I remember, like, I feel like I'm not the only one. When I have dreams of people that I don't even recognize, and these are beings that I have never seen, never done in this lifetime that I'm aware of, in this timeline that I'm aware of, and I'm just talking and conversating and having a jovial good time, and I'm just like, I have no idea who you are. But in the reality, that when I wake up, I was like, but do I know this person? And it's so many times I even had scenarios when I was dreaming, going into those places of realities, when I was even preconceiving how I was going to meet people, and then later in life I met them, and I was like, and I said,
that's some trippy shit.
I know one of my friends, Kayla, we worked at the smoothie place together, and she came in a week before I did to start the job, and I was like, oh, and we were talking, and I just looked at her, I was like, I feel like I know you, and she's like, I feel like I know you too. I was like, that's so weird, isn't it? And at the time, that I thought it was weird, but I knew that it was conscious development of my story. And it's the type of thing is when people really start taking into full authority of saying that those things actually do happen, The people that you are with are just not out of coincidence. The beings that are in your story are just not out of just like, oh, we just put things together and you guys just happen to be together. It could be a contract. It could be a full on, like how someone say, oh, let's all get online together at the same time.
Yes, exactly. That's
what
how
I feel.
That's what I love. It's a soul family idea, right? That there's a bunch of us up there that are just like, oh shit, we're gonna go play Earth this time, you know, and we're gonna go down there. And Travis, you're gonna look like that. I'm gonna look like this, and I'm gonna live in Texas. You're gonna live in Maryland or something. I don't know, north. You know, you're gonna live up there. You're gonna like snow, and that's why you live up there. And I'm gonna not like snow so much in cold weather, and that's why I live in Texas and Texas freedom, you know. And so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna have a bunch of other people that will meet along the way, and we'll all just kind of meet up and go, oh shit, you're experiencing this, I'm experiencing this. All right, cool. We'll see ya. And then we carry on, and maybe that's what life's all about. It's just this big game, you know. It's just a ride, like Bill Hicks says. I mean, I love that observation. That's the most freeing one to me. It's just a ride. So you're responsible for making choices here and having fun and enjoying the ride. And that's why you're here. And remembering that it's a ride is what will get you out of those states of feeling helplessness or feeling like you're angry all the time or fearful of what the game is trying to throw at you. But maybe that's not it. Once you realize that you're the participant in the game, then maybe you can create a more fun game. You know, you level up a little bit.
Exactly. It's kind of like when you realize that you're perfectly placed in those like in every single checkpoint. You're perfectly placed. It's just like, don't you know when sometimes like when you want, like, why did my character end up here in a different checkpoint? This is where all the action is happening. I want to be somewhere safe. It's like, what about if your checkpoint is supposed to be here and you had to gain your bearings, but you navigate, investigate. This is where you're supposed to be. And I feel I was even, I think last year at some time, I was getting into the full understanding. I was really narrowing into the void space of my existence. And I kept on saying, what was I saying? I was like, what was I saying? I was saying breathe or patience or whatever.
And just like a mantra to help you reset.
Yes, help me reset. And as I was going in, I just got this imagery, and it brought almost tears to my eyes of the clarity that it brought of just everyone bringing on off these headsets, these VRs, whatever, and everyone just looking beautifully majestic and cosmic looking, not in these bodies, but in a different one. And just be like, oh, hey, how is it going? To everyone that they're surrounding. Not this type of, it could be whatever it is. It is like, because there's all theories out there of this complicated thing that once we leave this vessel, that we're away from the beings that we know or love or care about. It can be as simple as that, stepping into, like they said, stepping into the next room. And we just take off the costume and be like, okay, that was hilarious.
Yeah. I had a great time. Oh, did you have a fun day at work today, hon? I sure did. I was, I was Travis for like 50 or for like 90 years. It was pretty cool, you know? And we experienced all this shit, and man, it was crazy. And God, they have these things called dogs there, and they're fantastic, you know? And I had a great time. And maybe it's just like that. And like you said, you just like, there was a near-death experiencer that I heard their story, and they said that whenever they turned around to look back at their body, they were dispassionate about it. They weren't worried at all. They looked at it like it was just clothes that they took off to throw in the hamper that they were done using. And man, it's this perspective, I think, this reality, albeit an illusion, would be, it's you need to be able to dumb it down or filter out these kinds of big concepts, even though they're fun to think about.
Yes.
Because you're here to have an experience, or you've paid somebody else for a ride, and basically you're cheating a little bit if you don't get the full experience for this ride that you paid some maybe we're at a carnival ride, you know, in some astral carnival. And, you know, you paid for this experience, you're getting it, you've got this VR suit on, and it's super advanced, and then you get to go have this experience. And so thinking of these kind of concepts is not unrealistic. It's basically another way of questioning the universe, trying to figure everything out, but also just playing with the notion that maybe things aren't as rigid and solid and as dire as they say that it is. You know, it's the desire for something to be a little bit less shitty is kind of why I'm a big fan of these kind of things. It's that there's no hell to go to whenever you're done. No, you're not being judged constantly. These are things people have told you because the church is actually a pretty big control mechanism. And they were part of the government a long time ago, and we just never really separated the control element of it. And, maybe it's to limit your power to exploit you to do something else for them instead of doing something for you, or instead of serving humanity in a greater way with a better outlook. Maybe. I just, like I said, I like going down these thought experiments. I appreciate you driving down the road with me.
No, I agree, because it's just like, it's all the things that like compartmentalize into every other area. It's just like, it didn't really go away. It's just spread out. The office with more employees and more different doors to open. And I just feel like even with that experience that I told you before in one of our conversations, when I shot in the neck in this body, in this timeline, and I felt everything. I felt the disconnectivity of fading away upward, away from this body. Just realizing it was like, oh, okay, that's it. What's next? It's just like, just knowing that it's like you said, it's not as dire. It is not as we're here to play. And I feel like we get to, of course, the emotions, the illusions of responsibilities of what these things, like, we all signed up for this. We all signed up for it. Stop thinking that it's there to kill you, to bring you down, to weigh you in some way. It's all about having fun with it. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but that's the ride. It's kind of like when you're going through a ride and it's a little difficult because you feel your head going like this and you feel like you're about to throw up. But when you get off the ride, you're just like, I want to go again.
Yeah, you're like, woo, that was dope. All right, let's do it again.
Especially with me, because I'm an adrenaline junkie, and I just love adrenaline.
Same.
And it's like I just find it's just like, if I'm going to feel like I'm close to death, let me be it. I like to live. And it's like not in a way that's irresponsible, but in a way that it's just showing the thrill and the experience of how to actually live life. And mind you, people, you don't have to live life in a way that has to be full out there and being a daredevil and doing the most lavish things. No, just take advantage of what you got now. It's like, just take advantage of what you can experience in this moment. If you can have fun in this moment, you have gained yourself the will and the right to have fun in every moment that you create from the next day on. It's like, because you now know that I can have fun with this. It's just like, okay, play with your roadblocks, play with the little blocks that you have. And when you can have fun and play with this, we'll give you the big boy stuff or the big girl stuff. And it's like, to really know how to have fun with it. But if you don't know how to have fun with your toys right in front of you, you're screwed. It's like you're screwed from that reality of knowing how to play with it. And I just feel like it's so much fun. Of course, feel the ups, the downs, the twists and turns. It's like, that can be draining and exhausting. But when you take away all that, especially when you know how to find balance with it, find the peace, find the calm, know how to navigate your own emotional spectrum, it's a fun place to be. It really is. It's just like, it's kind of, I realized I was watching what's eating up Gilbert Grapes the other day. And I woke up and walked out. It was at nighttime, and I was looking at all the stars. I was like, I'm in just a big dream. I really am. I was just looking around. I was just like, and with knowing this, I had this perspective. I was just saying, I can clock out whenever I want. It's like, it's that authority of knowing, because I feel like at the same time, we've been deemed to see the authority of knowing that we do have the will, the right, and consciousness to clock out whenever we choose. We have seen deemed to it, but I do feel that there are more different ways to do it. It's not in the way of ideas of suicidal, but I think it's more technological ways to bring consciousness out of the body and back to where it needs to be, or what came from. I feel like if someone says that, hey, even if I signed up for this ride, I got halfway through it, stop the festival clock and say, hey, can I get off now? It doesn't to do that, not just when it gets, I feel like it should be definitely some guidelines, not just when it gets hard, because when it gets hard, people sometimes like to run off.
Give up.
But
yeah.
Exactly.
That's when you have the most to learn. That's what that synchronicity is. It's teaching you something that you chose to learn.
Exactly. It's like, you chose to be here. You chose to gain the experience. Feel the experience.
Yeah. It's just a ride.
Yeah, exactly. Ride the ride. How are you going to really experience something if you just have your eyes closed and go like this and you're just like and feeling and not really seeing what's in front of you? Open your eyes, smile a little, let the bugs fly in your mouth, just spit them back out when you're off the ride and be like, oh, I feel good. Let me go on like the bumper cars next, or like the on the flying ferry ride. It's fun.
Well, Oh, my bad. Go ahead. You glitched out. I was interrupting. I like the analogy, and here's where we're actually going to wrap it up, my friend. So I like the analogy of that it's a dream, because you've talked a lot about dreams here, and I really like that. The analogy that it's just a ride as well, and tying those things together, and your empowerment with really how you are a creator of your life. Now, if this is a dream, and we're all just in our own dream, then choose to be lucid participant in the dream and create the reality that you want. Instead of just going, well, it's a dream and I have no control over it, choose to know that you do have control over it, maybe, and choose some lucid dreaming practices. One of those, just like in Inception, to know that their dreaming is the top. And so maybe keep a gratitude wristband on or keep a gratitude rock on you. And whenever you feel things going wrong or you get sucked into the illusion of the dream, touch that rock and realize it's all just a ride. Touch that bracelet and realize, hey, I'm grateful for this, this, and this, and shift your power back over into the fact that you are powerful and that you are creating your reality. Be a lucid dreamer.
Be a lucid dreamer. Exactly. Be a lucid dreamer.
Travis, I cannot tell you how much fun this was. I will definitely have you back on, man. I really want to thank you for your time, and I really do appreciate it. Tell these fine folks where they can find you real quick, and then we'll let them ride.
Oh, excellent. So just it glitched out a little bit. Did you say tell?
We are glitching out here at the end. It's the simulation trying to tell us we're done. So, look, I will say. So, tell the folks where they can find you, my friend.
Okay, and it's been an honor. This has been so much fun, and I'm ready to do so many more. But where you can find me is on TravisMOR.
You know what? Don't worry about it, because you glitched anyway. Start it over. So on Instagram, what was it?
So you could find us with 3 S's. Let's simplify that.
Okay, Travis Morris with 3 S's. Okay, that'll work. 2 R's and 3 R's and 3 S's.
3 S's. Yes. And it's like
we're doing great.
We're doing great in this simulation. We're finding the glitches.
That's right.
It's just like, and also you can follow Choose Today at Choose Today with 2 O's on Instagram to find how that's going to birth itself, and also our new furniture line, which is very, very exciting. So that's going to be very, very fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, and I can't wait to see your film. We'll definitely have you back on to talk about it whenever you get that going. That'll be cool.
Love it. It's cosmic.
All cosmic, and I love it. Well, Travis, like I said, I can't thank you enough. This has been a real pleasure, my friend, and thank you so much.
Of course, it's an honor. It's been an honor.
All right, everybody out there in listening world, I am Brandon Thomas. This has been the Expanding Reality Podcast, and just be good to one another, Get out of the left-hand lane, pick up a piece of litter every now and then. Don't litter, first of all. Second of all, pick it up if you see it laying on the ground. Do something for somebody else every now and then. Buy the person in line behind you their coffee or their meal every now and then. Do it maybe once a month, maybe once a quarter, whatever you can afford to do. Change the world in which you live and tend the garden that you got in these small little ways and watch the magic happen, right?
Yes. That's beautiful. I love that.
It's a good little sign off. We had a good time today. We had to sign it off right.
That was the best way. That was the best way. Do whatever you please to make everyone's life happy, including your own. That's right. It.
Beautiful. All right, my friend. I love you dearly, and thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Love you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.